Welcome to another session of lip reading. Save your energy because we're going to do it slightly differently from the other programs which I had, which you might have had time to review. So let's start with just some words. We're going to confine ourselves to the topic of now imitate what I'm doing. Try to duplicate or ape or remember. I said food. Did you get that? F-O-O-D, food. We'll be talking. Okay. And where do you get food? Did you get grocery store? Now remember, you have to get warmed up. Don't worry if some of the words escape you. Don't just go with the flow. Grocery store. When you go to the grocery store, you wheel yourself around in a shopping cart. Shopping cart. Okay? All right? And when I go to the grocery store, I always have a shopping list. And I don't buy too much. Some people call a grocery store imitate what I'm saying. Market. Yeah. Market. All right. So let's do some more lip reading with how much things cost. Now, we've been working with you can see my eyes. I'm going to put these glasses on so I can read, and I'm going to take my eyes away from you, and now you're going to find it's easier to pay attention to my lips because we're working on lip reading, of course. Okay? So what are we talking about? Money and budget. Sure, a budget's all about money. We're finding out that these days is getting more expensive. More expensive. Okay? And let's put budget and food and so on into a thought. So there's going to be like actually lip reading a communication. Getting is a hard word to read because part of it is hidden. It's not on the lips. So let me do that one again for you. It's the words we were just drilling. Did you get, now if you got at least 50% of that, that's our target. That means you're right where you belong. My budget for food is getting more expensive. My budget for food is getting more expensive. Oh, that's how fast people say it. We won't do that quite that fast. Now let's talk about where we're at. Itemized list. So we've got grocery store and list. Oh, that's too fast, isn't it? When I go to the grocery store, I always have a list. When I go to the grocery store, I always have a list. Beside the list, I also have coupons. Some people say coupons. I say coupons, so I hope you'll allow me with coupons. Besides the shopping list, I also have coupons. One more time. Did you get last time at the store? My total bill was over $90. So let's do that whole thing as though we were actually reading the entire phrase. I realize this is a step up from just drilling words or phrases. So, but we're doing the whole sentence now. Besides the shopping list, I also have coupons. Oh, we did that. I'm sorry. I jumped back. Last time at the store, my total bill was over $90. And the whole thought, last time at the store, my total bill was over $90. But By the time I cashed my coupons, it went down to $78. But by the time I cashed in my coupons, it went down to $78 one last time. Once more, I will most often buy the house brand. Now, don't get stuck on one word or something. Pick up whatever you can, and some of the words will just pop into place. So here we are with that sentence. I will most often buy the house brand. Rather than the national brand. Now, here's the whole thought again, trying to read it like a real lip reading situation instead of just drilling little words. Most often I will buy the house brand rather than the national brand. Why? Why? Because it is cheaper and just as good. Now the whole lip reading. Now what do we do with this food? Cook in the kitchen. And how do we cook? With are you imitating what I'm doing? Recipe. Recipe. Did you get at least half of that? You're on target. Seldom cook from a recipe anymore. Last time, fancy word. My most elaborate meals grilled cheese sandwiches or omelets. And the whole thought? My most elaborate meals are grilled cheese sandwiches or omelets. I only use 2 eggs to make an omelet. Sometimes I add oh, sometimes I add mushrooms. Well, besides the mushrooms, cheese or a bit of chopped sausage. Sometimes I add cheese, mushrooms, cheese, or a bit of chopped sausage. I use a lot of butter when I cook. Why? It makes things taste good. It makes things taste good. I actually was writing a cookbook once called Anyone Can Be a Good Cook If You Use Enough Butter. I wonder, I should finish that. It sounds like a cool cookbook title. I always cut my grilled cheese sandwich into 3. Just like they do in a fancy restaurant. Three nice triangles. Let's do that whole thing again. Why? Now, it's a different experience, isn't it? Even though you know most of the words and the concept, it's, you see, lip reading takes endless amounts of time to, well, for me, it takes endless amounts of time to practice. So that's what we're drilling here, to give you practical drilling practice. Some people are natural lip readers. I always mention my sister from the time she was 10 years old. She could read lips from across the room. That's phenomenal. From the time I was 60 or 70 years old, I still had as much difficulty as some of you are with reading lips. It requires concentration and effort and persistence. So don't give up wherever you are. If you're getting 50% of this, you're just fine. I salute you. So let's see. Let's review that last thing. Now, a different concept. Since I make meals for only one. Since I make meals for only one, I use a lot of frozen food. Since I make meals for only one, I use a lot of frozen food. Oh dear, those are names of the kind of frozen food I use, aren't they? Did you get any of them? Stouffer's? Yeah. Healthy Choice? Yeah. Atkins? Now see, sometimes if I want to say Stouffer's and not Atkins, you don't have a choice. Either you get it or you don't. So that's where we're practicing proper names, proper nouns. Let's do them again. Stouffer's, Healthy Choice, Atkins. And here's about my my favorite meal is spaghetti. It's where I was Italian. By the way, I'm not Italian. My name is Lithuanian. Valenta is a Lithuanian name, 100% Lithuanian. My favorite meal is spaghetti. Instead of an hour or more, it's frozen. frozen spaghetti. So it cooks in 6 minutes instead of an hour or more. Oh boy, those are in what I do. I will often add mushrooms or oregano. They never put enough of that in the frozen meal. Grated cheese, just like in a fancy restaurant. I will often add mushrooms, oregano, grated cheese, or parsley. I will often add well, there, now you know what a lousy cook I am. So let's run through this whole narrative here. And let's, before each sentence, I'll drill some of the key words. Like we started out with and, and. Okay, did you get any of those? Budget, expensive, food. Okay, my budget for food is getting more expensive. Grocery store, list, when I go to the grocery store, I always have a list. Beside the shopping list, I also have coupons. Besides the shopping list, I also have coupons. Last time at the grocery store, my total bill was over $90. But by the time I cashed in my coupons, it went down to $78. I will most often buy the house brand. Rather than the national brand. I will most often buy the house brand rather than the national brand. Why? Because it's cheaper and just as good. I seldom cook from a recipe anymore. My most elaborate meals are grilled cheese sandwiches or omelets. My most elaborate meals are grilled cheese sandwiches or omelets. I only use 2 eggs in an omelet. Sometimes I add mushrooms, cheese, or a bit of chopped sausage. I use a lot of butter when I cook. It makes things taste good. I use a lot of butter when I cook. It makes things taste good. I always cut my grilled cheese sandwich into 3 pieces. Just like they do in a fancy restaurant. 3 nice triangles. Since I make meals for only one, I use a lot of frozen food. Stouffer's, Healthy Choice, Atkins. Spaghetti in 6 minutes instead of an hour or more. That's my favorite meal. Always has been. Well, that sounds like I've given you my recipe for doctoring up frozen spaghetti. Just because they say the meal is ready, they never put enough parsley on Italian food or oregano, especially oregano. And I always add grilled cheese and croutons. I mean, if you cook for only one person like I do, you gotta make it special. And so I hope you've had a productive session with this lip reading lesson. This is number 3 in the series that we've been doing called Introduction to Basic Lip Reading. There will be a 4th series, a 4th session coming up within a month or so. Thank you for your indulgence. Happy days. Bye-bye. I hope you've enjoyed this session as much as I have. I am, as you can see, sponsored, and my sponsor and I would both appreciate it if, as a tribute to both of us, if you could feed the kitty a little bit. I'm asking for a donation, but only if you're comfortable with that. Please consider sending us a contribution of some kind. Namaste. I thank you ahead for your consideration and your possible contribution.